So I did a huge mistake. I didn't prepare for that event in terms of, I've never been to Zakopane. I've seen pictures yesterday about beautiful lakes in the mountain, and I definitely need to come back to see more of that area. I heard you either love it or hate it, and if you want to see the lakes, you're not allowed to come in summer with 100,000 of tourists, so back in autumn next year. All right, maybe we start in the meantime with a short quiz. Let's start with something easy. When did we announce the AS400? What year?
1988.
Perfect. Can we have a giveaway?
Yeah, of course. I'll give you all books.
When did we stop calling it AS400?
Now using the AS400 for today.
So that's almost the correct answer. Who had the first one?
Kto pierwszy odpowiedział? Używaliście?
So we are using it until today, yes. But when did we rename it the first time? 2000. That's absolutely correct. And the next time from I-Series to System I, a couple of years later. When was the first time a computer was beating a chess master?
1997.
Deep Blue, Kasparov? 1997, yes, absolutely correct. Who was that? I can throw the soft parts. Oh. So, when was the first time a computer won Jeopardy? Jeopardy, that's this quiz show in the US where you basically get an answer and need to figure out the question. No one.
2011.
2011, Bart. So, Jeopardy was Power11.
Power11, yeah, Watson.
Another strange thing. When did we send the first Mars rover with a power processor to the moon? To the moon, to the Mars. 2004. And how many did we send in total? 4. The last one we just sent 2021. So, that is for me. All right. So, that was just a quick warm-up. So, usually when I start with some introduction. That's my introduction. I was born in the early 80s. The world was great. I got my first Atari computer here. Commodore 64, my next one, right? And then I got my first real computer running OS/2 Warp from IBM. I immediately deleted it from the computer and installed Windows 3.1, because that's a great thing. Short after, we got Windows 95 with all the troubles that came into the IT. I finished school around 2000, started university and joined IBM with Power 5 time frame, right away in Power. So not Power, but System P. Just a couple of years later I learned that the world is more than just how fast the adapter is and so on, right? All these good things that we have in the IBM world just came to me a couple of years later. So I started in Austria as a seller, became then a platform leader in Alps, Austria, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, and joined the European team then in 2014. Got married in the meantime, have 3 kids, and since 2014 I'm not just focused on selling our bigger enterprise systems, but working together with the global team, development and offering team to improve kind of what we are doing in Power, get things corrected, get things into the right direction. So that's my short introduction, and at the top of the chart you see why we are here. It's all about Power11, our latest introduction. So when I joined Power back in 2005, the first question I got from my boss was, hey, do you actually know what Power is? And of course I did not. And he told me about the architecture, the processor, the family. And I thought, what the heck, who cares? And with the latest announcement, I think for the second time since I joined IBM, we did something great from a marketing perspective. And that's why I simply show you our announcement video. And I'll try to make it work with sound.
This is IBM Power. And just like you, it's what's inside that really counts. Power isn't things. It's focusing on your business, not your IT. It's reliability, security, and resiliency, all in service of creativity. It's more free time with tech built for zero planned downtime. Time to think, time to push, time for lunch. Power is innovation at work, thanks to flexibility in the cloud. Longer runways, productive days, and maybe even a bit of play. Power is efficiency multiplied, courtesy of accelerated AI. It's green lights and fast tracks. Looking forward, moving on, and not looking back. Power is here. IBM Power11.
So that was, for me, a nice marketing video that really captured a lot of things. It was not about being faster, being stronger, being whatever. It's again about your business, about forward orientation, about keeping stuff going. And that kind of marketing idea came a day before the announcement. And it was introduced to us, and we said, cool, Power is flexibility. Everybody came up with, Power is, what is it for you? And on the day of the announcement, we had a customer on stage, and it was not casted or tested or whatsoever. And one of our folks asked the customer on stage, hey, what is Power for you? And he said, trust. And I think that's the strongest thing that you can get from a customer, trust. Well, some of you might argue you could even get love, right? We have some AS400 guys that have it tattooed on the arm, or have a license plate, right? But I wouldn't go that far that I want love from everybody, but if we can get trust, that's a big thing. So we have a good story, we have a new marketing, very, very positive, and it reminds me a lot about IBM. Because it's about the people, it's about working together, it's about bringing things together. So finally, after a lot of years with the unification and maybe not enough focus on IBM specifically, right? We are back that the values that we introduced back in 1988 with the AS400 are again more in the big focus of Power in general. And that's thanks to you, to a community that really keeps the Power platform, IBM, AIX, Linux, everything that we do with it, alive, happy, work in user groups, bring your ideas, your thoughts into our development teams closer to us and help us building these kind of ideas and solutions that we need out there. You see that we have globally 163 IBM champions. I think we have 3, 4 in the room. So Piotr, Bart, Igor, I think is somewhere, right? Thank you all for really capturing also the insight from the customers or from your business and bringing it to our development folks, because that is really getting us forward and doing the right things. But that is only one element. If we design a new platform, we focus of course on the things that you tell us, but we also look into what are actually industry trends. So when we looked into Power11, industry trends like having 1 billion of additional applications being around until 2028 was one of the big topics. And what does that bring to IT shops? A lot of complexity. We're living in silos. We need to have data control. We need to do cost optimization. A lot of things that make our life not easier, but really complicated. So how do we deal with these kind of complexities that are upcoming while keeping platforms secure, trusted, easy to manage, handling topics with AI? So those were basically the things that we tried to keep together, keep an eye on it, and try to find solutions and answers for you. So with Power11, the big topic for us was business continuity and AI. Business continuity comes with zero planned downtime as a main theme, with how to secure a system, ransomware attacks is one buzzword here, and how to easily integrate the AI theme. You know that we control the stack, so silicon, the hardware, the operating system, the firmware. We even do a lot into the hybrid cloud, but how do we glue that all together to make it as easy as possible to consume? So I don't want to say for the first time in years, but I remember years where we've been internally fighting with software group, where we've been internally fighting with our TLS colleagues, right, for certain things. Here with Power11, it's a lot about cooperation. So cooperation, what do I mean? Some of our ideas or solutions to ensure zero planned downtime are based on software group products. Some of the enhancements to keep our systems up and running for quite a long time are in cooperation with TLS, with new tools, with AI usage in the background. Some of the solutions in the ransomware detection area are cooperation with technology expert labs to really integrate this. This kind of cooperation within IBM I haven't seen for ages. So it's bringing us together, and that is another good aspect of Power11 from a strategic point of view. All that together brings me to this awesome marketing slide that I really love from a sales and marketing perspective, far away from reality. So that's how we envision the future, right? Where infrastructure thinks, heals, and grows on its own. So that's the IT admin sitting down there with the coffee, looking at the system that heals itself, right? And I'm the sales guy. I'm happy because the system grows on its own, so I can sell more hardware. That's how we envision the future. We all know it will not be like that, right? But looking now into these key topics that I touched on, right? The unprecedented business continuity topic can be divided basically in 3 areas. So unplanned downtime. What did we do in that area? We increased it by another 9. So we now have 6 nines of availability. That's awesome. So basically the system is usually never down. But what happens if it goes down? So that's the cooperation with TLS that I mentioned before. So with AI-infused tools now in TLS that help us analyze certain patterns, analyze previous problems that occurred, and therefore come up with suggestions how to handle that kind of problem immediately. So We have a 98% first call error resolution rate, and we enhance with this AI-infused support, I would say, the answer time by up to 30%. And behind, if you have a call, if you open a ticket, opening a ticket is way easier now. It was pretty time-consuming in the past. If you then attach the call home functionality, which by the way is not used as much as it should be used. So storage has a way higher attach rate or enablement rate on call home than Power has. So we ask you leverage that functionality, enable call home. It really helps you in case there is a problem. So we have enhanced the unplanned downtime area, planned downtime. Planned downtime, typically an IT admin is busy 25 to 40% of his time with keeping the system alive and patched and everything, right? So patch planning, big part of the business. We have now tools either via the HMC or with the software product that I mentioned earlier, which is IBM Concert, that allows you to automate the processes. So automation on firmware, virtual IOs, and adapter updates can automatically be triggered, either concurrent or even if it's a disruptive upgrade, you can simply work that automated with live partition mobility and keep your system up and running. And we are also planning, from a roadmap perspective, to enhance that for operating system updates in 2026 as well. So we really try to keep your system up and running all the time, even if there are challenges with upgrades and so on. And cyber incidents at the bottom. So cyber incidents as a big topic with the threats to come, or the threats that are here, where the quantum computers will break codes within minutes, and you currently have the situation that there are threats out there where they collect the data now to gain insight in a couple of years when quantum computers are ready. So you need to protect now, and you need to prepare for future incidents. We do have a couple of new options in that space. So quantum safe firmware, quantum safe boot, that's already available there. All our live partition mobility actions are encrypted. We have a new crypto card, which is available, and I think we have a presentation later today by D-Lab on that crypto card and first experience. So encryption, very important topic. Cyber incidents go a step further. It's about the security to prevent things, but we assume that you cannot be secure completely, so you also need to take the next steps and prepare to be resilient, so to get back as fast as possible. So our offering in that space now, jointly with storage, is CyberVault. So it doesn't make sense to just look on the power front, right? You need to do that jointly, basically, with the storage dimension as well. And our Technology Expert Labs colleagues that really help you here, enable things, set things up. So you have a detection within less than a minute and can start the clean room automatically and take appropriate actions to be back up running within a very short period of time. I'd encourage our partners to also look into that and maybe do some of the services on their own. It's a big topic that will trigger a lot of knowledge and actions on your side as well. But we need to be prepared in that space. Another thing that we announced is Spire. That's our kind of AI. So while the whole world is talking about GPUs and NVIDIA and the stock is going through the roof on their side, MIT study says that only 5% of all POCs in the AI space are gaining a return on the investment. So most of the AI tests that are out there are simply not getting the outcome that people would expect. And there are reasons for that. You see the three main obstacles with the data integration being complex, the skills missing on the market. We have security issues, how do we deal with that? If you have a server with a GPU card, how do I offload my data from the main server, get it to the server that has the GPU, crunch it there, get information back, integrate everything. So it's not as smooth as you would hope it would be, right? And there are a lot of trends in the AI space listed on the right-hand side of the chart. And the key aspects in red, trust. Again, trust that I mentioned earlier, that is a key topic for Power. It is about deploying Gen AI in production. So you want to actually have the AI where your data resides. And that is what we focus on with Spire. Spire are basically, that's a card. We give that to you in an I/O drawer, 8 cards in that I/O drawer. One card needs 75 watt energy, which is nothing compared to a GPU. And you easily attach that to your Power11 system, deploy with a simple click basically your use case, and you're ready. So you have then a Spire LPAR, your data on the same server connects to the Spire LPAR and can feed at the end of the day the Spire card. Not everybody is going to use a Spire card, even if that looks very nice and fancy. Some might simply want to test it. And you see that IBM catalog with pre-deployed models and ideas with a pretty simple installation option, right? You don't need Spire for that. You can get started easily using these kind of models and run it against your MMA, Matrix Math Accelerator, that we have built within the chip. You have 4 MMA accelerators per core. So on a 1180 system, you would have up to 1024 MMA accelerators already in the system. So you can use the model, test it, try it, run it against your accelerator that you already have on the system. And if you figure out it's not fast enough, well, then go for Spire. Accelerate it. Check if your use case, your integration, if everything works before you invest into the acceleration. But we try to make it as simple as possible for consumption. So that's the main idea. Keep it easy, keep it integrated. Talking about easy and simplification, Enterprise Pools 2.0 is one of my favorite topics. We started with that 7 years ago, I think. The take-up is very good. A lot of customers, especially in Europe, interested in this technology. I did a quick check early in the morning. I think we just have 5 customers in Poland using it. So what is Enterprise Pools 2.0? It's basically the ability to create resource consumption across physical systems. So you can order any Power10, Power11 server with just 1 core active and 256 gigabyte memory active, so the bare minimum, and run everything on top in a metered way. You can adapt that baseline, so your fixed consumption is higher, your financials are paying off in a better way, but this model gives you the option to turn CapEx into OpEx, if that is from a financial perspective interesting to you. It gives you the ability to balance workload across systems, because we are not looking at the utilization of a single server, but across the utilization across all servers. All the resources on those systems are available. They are up and running, available for the system, so you can all do your LPAR settings and your whole planning easily with all the resources, but you're metered only against what you really use. So that's that's it in a nutshell. What is the smallest pool you could create? One system with one core and 256 gigabytes of memory, and run everything on top metered. So one system is already a pool. You can have up to 64 systems in that pool as well, right? So the big idea behind that is to allow private clouds or enable private clouds where you really only pay for what you consume. But it also helps you to optimize your IT environment. So we have big customers that have been able to reduce their overall licenses and activations by 20 to 25% by just using that automatic consumption and optimization. Yeah. The next step that we took now with Power11 is that all of our systems are automatically prepared for pools. So whatever Power11 system you purchase, the activations are already prepared for it. And to enable and use it, you can purchase a pool subscription, test it for a couple of months, stop it if you don't like it, but it's easy to get into pools now. The next thing that we announced and enhanced is that this metering was so far only either prepaid with credits or postpaid with a very complicated process. So what we enhanced it with now is that we allow enterprise savings plan in the cloud world, so a commitment for cloud to be used against on-prem systems. So you sign up for, I don't know, 100K in IBM Cloud, but you're not sure how much you use in the cloud or on-prem. You can use those resources, this commitment, against on-prem systems in enterprise pools to the world. That means we are creating a true hybrid opportunity here, where you could run certain things in IBM Cloud or use those resources on-prem. So talking about IBM Cloud, you need to have cloud these days. How's the adoption of IBM Cloud so far? In the US, pretty good. The US market is completely different to what we see in Europe. In Europe, we have a lot of qualified and very good managed service providers and partners that provide similar offerings. Still, we do have certain use cases that I would say resonate. In Spain last year, there was a big flooding. One of our customers, the data center, was completely flooded. Systems down, IBM system, P05 customer. It would have taken them weeks to months to get a new server, set everything up, get the backups in, blah, blah, blah. They had disaster recovery in IBM Cloud and were back up and running a couple of hours later. Might not be your use case, but for certain situation, it really makes sense to spread risk. With another customer in Austria who decided to go into cloud, PowerVS, with IBM, because he said, we have 10 people in our IT shop, and our CEO wants us to focus on AI and do this topic and do that topic, and we are not getting additional headcounts. So I need to free up my resources to focus on the new stuff and get the easier tasks or the management of the systems out. They decided not to do it via a managed service provider, but basically get everything into the cloud and therefore free their people up for other workloads. So there are different kind of use cases. I don't say that you need to go there, but just think it through if it makes sense for you. So that's what we do on the cloud side. And we, with Power11, also introduced virtual tiering with IBM in the cloud. So this is a well-kept secret because we are afraid that customers would ask us, when do we get virtual tiering on-prem? And I give you the answer, we don't have a plan yet, but we allow it in IBM Cloud. What does that mean? In IBM Cloud we have S1122s, which are usually P10 processor class, and we allow to run PO5 instances with 1 core and 64 GB of memory, basically on those systems. And on the high-end side, we have P1180s in our data centers, and you are allowed to run there P20 on the P30 box as well. So we start with virtual tiering here. This is a new topic and a new area for us as well. On the right-hand side of the chart, you see PowerVS at client side. That's also something that is not known that much, but there are certain reasons why customers want to go to cloud, and one of the reasons is they don't want to own the asset. There are customers that would like to go to cloud, but say, I can't give my data out of house into a public cloud. So PowerVS at client side is exactly addressing that. IBM owns the asset, puts the whole gear on site. So it's basically a pod with all the network components, storage, power resources, right? We put it on customer side, and the customer can deploy their LPARs, not in a traditional way, but the same way that you would do it in PowerVS. So it's your on-prem cloud deployment. All right. Hopefully I'm not running out of time. What else did we do? So we introduced bundles. Honestly, we did a lot of mistakes in certain areas. So a couple of years ago, we introduced subscription on IBM I, and not everybody was happy about subscription. The idea was good. Our communication was poor. So we wanted to make life easier with subscriptions, more granular, and I think we didn't do a good job in communicating it. We also had some issues with taking BRMS out, BR1 out of it, also causing friction. So we are trying to overcome these kind of, or learn from these kind of mistakes that we've done. We introduced now on the high-end side with the P20 and P30 class bundles, where we have everything in again. So the bundle for P30, for example, does not only include BRMS, it also includes PowerHA, DB2 Miro, important iDoctor components, Ansible, and other stuff. So it's, from a price and value perspective, easy to consume, or easier to consume, and includes a lot of goodies for you to be used. I'm mentioning that not just to ensure you that we've heard all about the challenges that we had initially with the subscriptions, but also that we are working on it to find a new, easier way to fix, for example, the BRMS challenges and others. Okay, another topic, resource groups. So we also introduced resource groups with Power11. This is similar to multiple shared processor pools, but helping to isolate workloads even stronger. Comes with additional schedulers per resource group, which also has a good performance impact. So in larger environments running a workload that is licensed per core, we've been able to realize 25% performance improvement by using Power11 hardware and an improved stack and resource groups on top. There will be a couple of presentations in the next days. I think Bart has one, right? Also from an IBM perspective, we are having a presentation. So that's really a cool topic. You can isolate production workload from test workload, or separate customers within your customer, and really within your company, and really isolate them from each other. Energy efficiency. In certain European countries, energy efficiency is a big topic. We need to control it, get more efficient, being able to manage it to a certain extent. So we keep an eye on that topic. I'm not sure it's for everyone, but we have introduced a new energy efficient mode that allows you to basically save 30% of your energy consumption by just reducing the performance about 10%. So if you don't run in full performance mode to get your 100% performance, if you are able to, for example, accept that the performance is 10% worse, you can achieve up to 30% savings. Why do I mention that? Because a lot of customers say, I would use the automated mode scheduling to just say on weekends, I don't need performance. I like to save energy cost on weekends. I automatically schedule that and reduce the performance by 10% over the weekends, no drama. Also an option if you are a bigger customer charging internal customers is the partition level monitoring, where you can really say how much of energy consumption is for what internal client, for example. Good. That was a lot around what we've done on the software side, on optimization side, but how actually does the hardware look like? So the hardware systems are very similar to what we've seen with Power11. We optimized a bit the portfolio. So we integrated, for example, on the scale-out side, the ESCM models, the S1122S systems as a feature into official S1122. So we streamlined the systems a bit. We increased the number of cores in the systems. We also have spare cores in those boxes now, increasing the availability. All systems using DDR5 memory, getting more out of it, running with higher frequencies. So the system portfolio, pretty similar to Power11. Attention on the last box on that slide. That's our very small half-wide system, the S1012 currently, a PO5 box. The successor, the 1112, will be available in about a year from now, so end of 2026. So when you look at that kind of overview, you will realize there is no S1114. Where's my PO5 system? So we currently don't have a PO5 IBM box on Power11. We still have the 1014 in place until at least mid of next year. We still have the 1012 available until at least mid of next year. We will get the 1112 second half of next year, and those are the systems to focus on if you're running PO5. We are currently debating for future generations how we deal with the PO5 class. 64 gigabyte of memory is not that much, right? Difficult to get these kind of memory DIMMs in the future that small. So I think we need to, from an IBM and development perspective, look a bit into the future and see how we can maybe make things bigger and also enable customers to run AI workloads on top of your IBM I workload, which is a bit difficult in the PO5 space if you are limited to a certain number of cores and memory. So there are things to come, things that we're working on. They are not around the corner. This is what we developed with Power11, and I think it's still a very good, flexible portfolio that we do have, including also the enhancements in cloud. That was the hardware overview, but what about the chip itself actually? So the Power11 chip, from a design perspective, is very similar to the Power10 chip. but we glued additional things onto it. We optimized it from an electricity perspective and heat perspective to be able to run it with higher frequencies and to get more cores out of it. So with Power11, for example, in the scale-out space, we've been able to get up to 22 cores on a chip active from an energy balance perspective. With Power11, we optimized it in a way to get up to 30 cores out of that chip. So increasing the overall number of cores in a scale-out system dramatically. One of the interesting things for that is the IC interposer. So that helps us with, for example, workload-introduced voltage groups, so balancing the energy consumption on a chip to really ensure a consistent energy delivery and therefore not having performance drops every now and then for certain reasons. We also use this new technology on the mainframe side, so it's kind of a first test ride for future chips and systems. And looking into the future, we're currently working on Power12, so, oh sorry, not Power12, PowerFuture. We don't know yet how we will call it, so forget Power12, maybe it's getting completely different kind of name, but we are working on the next generation, let's put it that way. We're looking into the chiplet architecture to enable that future. Gives a lot of advantages if we go down that route. The first chips are already in test, so we are currently checking if our calculations and expectations concerning single thread performance and multi-thread performance are being fulfilled, and it looks very promising. The cooperation with Samsung that we have here really pays off. They provide really high quality chips to us. So chips under development, we're currently having the discussions on system design, reviewing the design of scale-out mid-range high-end systems so that we are ready to stick to our typical release cycle of 3 to 4 years until we get a new generation. So, I think that was roughly the story that I wanted to tell you on Power11. There is a nice quote from Mr. Skinner. He wrote that in a book in 1969. 1969, the year where Unix was invented, where we had the first man on the moon, and a couple of other things happened in that year, so he was a bit scared about how machines might take over the world, 1969. But I think in these days, it's a valid quote again. So the real problem is not whether machines think, but whether men do. And I want to encourage you, I think AI is a good thing. We need to understand how we use it. But we should not forget that it's also about us, about the humans, and our critical thinking and questioning things. And we shouldn't just blindly follow industry trends and what everyone else is doing, but really check what our business needs, what we need, where we want to go, and take according steps. And I hope that IBM and IBM Power is the partner on that journey with you. So thank you very much. Enjoy the next days and the sessions from our colleagues. Thanks for inviting me. Have a good rest of the day.